All right. Terry. Look at me with the thing on the screen. Terry! Got my stuff popping. I needed to do a mirror check. Oh my God. I'm twisting sideways, y'all. Hold on a second. It's just a shirt. This shirt is cut. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like,
You look very alluring.
thank you, darling. Thank you. You know, they say when you got it, you got it. I have a shiny shirt on.
What's that?
You got a shiny shirt.
Yeah, this is my new one. My spring edition. It's sort of a.
We got to get more full. Let's get full. You got to get up close with me and
Okay,
Terry.
well, this is it. Yeah. There you go.
But I'm not doing makeup today. I'll do my new glasses.
Okay.
Okay, so today
nice glasses.
we're gonna be with. I'm taking them off. Anyway, we're gonna be with medium Megan Scott, and Dom was already in the audience waiting. She's already here, but we're gonna get started with Megan. I like Megan. We got to hang out. She helped me long time ago with there was a distortion on a show. I was on a show with Matthew Turner, and there was like mega feedback distortion, and people were hearing voices, and she interpreted the voices, and then we got to know each other. We both have a birthday, October 23rd, but I'm the 98th. What did he say? I was 2 degrees away from being a Scorpio.
Yeah.
And then she's but she does so much. Megan, are you coming on the screen? Or are you going to be the invisible?
I'm going to be invisible today.
Oh okay.
I'm invisible today. I always am when I go on camera.
Okay, no problem. That makes sense too. I know sometimes it's a lot of energy when you have a lot of eyeballs on you and stuff. People get a little bit, sometimes you can feel people's intentions, and sometimes it's a little bit overwhelming sometimes too, especially for someone who's like so extremely tapped in, because you did a reading for me and you did like, I'm telling you, she got stuff on my reading that I got from my ancestry DNA. So I knew it was like, I knew what she was saying was true from the reading, because it was all in my ancestry as well. But then too, like I've had other readings with people like Sean Bond, and it's like, boom, she was basically bringing in, and she was doing it with her cards. She does these amazing readings. We've had meetings in groups where, you know, she was like the girl with the red hair, and she, you know, with the blue ink pen, and she was like, you know, just, I was like, what? Girl, you going to somebody coming to get you. You better slow down. Like, so tell us, like, well, about yourself, just how you even got started with this, and how you became confident in what you do to the point where you just know. Like a lot of people struggle because they're like not sure about the information that they're getting, and but you are just like there. So how did you become, well, when did you find out you were intuitive, and how did that even get started for you?
So I went through my awakening when my mom was in the hospital. She had her gallbladder removed and had become very septic, and she literally was on death's door. And I had she was in the hospital. They had to place excuse me, a tube in her to drain the infection out, and it had to go through her liver. And you know, my mom's had a massive heart attack. She's had multiple strokes, but you could never tell that with her because she got the proper treatment in time. But she went septic because this young doctor was very arrogant, and he just wasn't doing things properly. And because I do have tattoos, and so he didn't look at me like I was, you know, like I was beneath. He looked at me like I was beneath him, and So he wasn't listening to me. And she was in the hospital, and I was I was not I never had a thought that I was gifted, never had, any inclination of any of it. And it was just like the door opened up to her hospital room, and I'm like, the nurses just left out of here not too long ago. What's going on? And I just seen this bright light, and come to find out, it was Archangel Azrael coming to pretty much collect my mom. And he said that he was there to collect her. I was like, excuse me? And you know how slick hospital floors are. And I mean, like, I jumped off the little cot that I was sitting on, and I slid over to her, and I put my hand on her, and I was like, you're gonna have to go through me. You're not taking my mom nowhere. And he just looked at me, and he said, that's what we needed to hear, not for a long while. And it was from there on, he just dissipated. And I was like, okay, they've drugged me. Something has happened. They've seriously drugged me. And something's not right. My mom woke up, and she's like, baby, are you okay? What's wrong? I was like, nothing, just go back to sleep. And then they expected her to be in the hospital, just the hospital itself, for at least a month. And she was already out of the hospital into rehab within a week and a half.
Wow.
And then they expected her to be at the rehab facility for at least 2 months. She was only there 3.5 weeks. And she's done amazing ever since. And it was 2 to 3 weeks after we got home. I was on Facebook, and I came across this guy who turned out to be one of my best friends and my mentor. Him and his husband, he did psychic readings online, and I was like, and I didn't have none of that. I didn't, you know, look at any of that. I've always had a big pull to like psychics and mediums, but um, I've always believed in it, but I never thought that had any inch of anything like that within me. And I heard the word starseed for the first time, and it pulled me in. And I had asked him about my husband, because my husband had committed suicide in 2015. And he he said, yes, he's here. And then it was like he automatically got, I mean, like the feeling of the gunshot, and I mean, like everything. And I literally dropped what he had in his hand and shattered his coffee room table. Um, because what he had in his hand, because it shocked him for him to get what he got so fluently and so dramatically. And so he was like, he told me that I needed to, him and his husband were starting their mentorship, and they wanted me to be there. And I was like, yeah, no, wrong person. I'm not it. I don't have any, no, I'm not the one. Then I seen him live again, and I stepped in and I said hi, and he said, so you're going to be there. I want you to be there for my live, or for my mentorship on this day, to this and that. 2 days later, I get an invite to a group chat. And I was like, I don't have the money for this. I can't do this. And he was like, oh, and didn't we speak about your payment? And I was like, no, we never did speak about payment. He goes, well, don't worry about it. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, don't even worry about it. And I went to the first class, and I was nervous wreck, because everybody in there had an idea of what they were. They knew they had a gift. And I thought, okay, well, maybe I might be an empath a little bit, because me and my sister have a weird connection, a psychic connection, you would say. And then the little incident I had at the hospital, but that's about it. Um, I don't think this is right for me. I think y'all got the wrong person. I don't think this is right for me. And he honestly, him and his husband really truly thought that they couldn't help me. That I was, because I was very standoffish about it, because I mean, I knew nothing about anything when it came to spirituality, nothing about nothing. And everybody else in there knew something, were on their path and doing and I was like, oh my God, I'm a fish out of the water here. This is not no, I'm not, no, no. And after the class had ended, he called me, and we talked. And my daughter had been having my oldest daughter has some mental illness, but she's also very gifted, and she'd been having some issues, and he talked her through to do something to help her. And we talked. He goes, "You better be at class next week." He goes, I'm you have to be there. And that's when he told me, and I asked him, I said, "So what's this starseed thing?" And he explained it to me a little bit. He didn't know much about it until I really started to dive deep into it that week. And then the following class, um, I right before class, I went out and meditated with my tree. Next thing you know, I started having all these gifts open up and come to me. And they just, I mean, like, not just randomly, here and there. No, I got hit with every single gift all at one time, except for one. And that was my trance channeling, and which happened 2 weeks later. And it was just like all at once I got hit with clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, claircognizance, the clairgustus. I mean, you name it, the mediumship, um, the healing, everything. And uh it was just like I was overwhelmed, but I was very scared of spirit, because you my dad was a minister, and I was raised to believe that this is the devil. This is evil. It's not good. And, so automatically thought, I can't remove a spirit. I can't, physically pick up a spirit and throw him out of my house. And, but a human I can, but a spirit, I can't do that. I didn't know about it. And I was scared of them, and I would not, for the life of me, connect. I would avoid it at all cost. And um finally he convinced me to just let go and step into it and accept it. And then I did, and I stepped into, you know mostly focusing on starseeds and extraterrestrials. And my spirit guide is Ra, the Egyptian sun god, and Anu, the All Father, the Sky Father of the Anunnaki, which is he's my guardian and my protector. And then I have, Ra's brother Soltar, who is also my spirit guide. And it's like, and then I have Archangel Azrael, who's always been with me, which you know, in that first class, he kept telling me that he sees this large, large, dark, you know, figure behind me. That scared me. And come to find out, the dark figure that was standing behind me was, Azrael. And it was just like, it all just started coming to me. And I mean, like, when me being a Scorpio, whenever I put my all into something, I'm going to learn everything and anything about it. And I'm going to, master it, and I'm going to conquer it. And, regardless of any fear or any kind of uh competence barrier. And I seriously just accepted it for what it is. And because I wasn't just, getting told, I was seeing actual proof of it. The one person which is my mom, she is I'm going to say she's a Bible thumper, and she's very hell strict on that Bible, and anything to do with this is the devil. But she has had my back from the very beginning. She helped me pick out my first deck of cards, and um, she also she's seen things happen. She witnessed things occur within me and around me, and it opened her up and made her see that, okay, this is not the devil, because it's not, because I fully believe in God. I fully believe, I do believe that there was Jesus, but I have, the other belief that yes, but he was not human. Okay. And so I have my some beliefs in Christianity, and then my beliefs in spirituality. And it's like I have a different outlook on things, but my mom knows that. but she knows how I was raised. And she's like, this isn't the devil. And she sees it because she doesn't see me doing, seances to conjure up demons, and which that's what she thought psychics did. And because she didn't have any knowledge on it, she was only going off what she was told by the church, and how the Bible says not to not to play with anything to do with mediums or psychics, and you'll go to their hell. And it's like, it's what my mom thought. And my mom didn't understand that was not, she didn't understand until she witnessed firsthand what a real psychic is, and it's not what she was told. And I would tell her, Mom, I'm not going to the store unless you go with me. And if I said that, and if she went with me, there was either a massive wreck or massive cops all around. I don't have a driver's license, so that will explain the reason why I would say that. So, and she would witness things, occur, me say things, or like whenever I had my first psychic vision of her taking her medicine, and I was like, well, what are you doing? She picked up her pill bottle to take her medicine. I was like, you just took it, don't take it. And I seen her take it before she took it. And it was like, she witnessed that firsthand. And it was like, she just witnessed it. And me having my mom see and really truly say, okay, there's something here. You are really gifted. That really helped my confidence and my ability to continue to head straight forward into it and not quit, no matter what came in front of me, no matter what tried to take me down, no matter what tried to stop me. And then as the weeks progressed with my spiritual, my mentorship, I stepped into my trance channeling abilities by watching Rob Garther on Gaia, and he channels a being by the name of Treb. And he I had a connection with Treb, and it activated my trance channeling abilities. And then it was like I was on the phone with one of my really good friends that I met in the spiritual community. Her name is Tara, and we were talking, and she's very gifted, and she helped activate, without even knowing, my holy fire within my hands. And it was like rapidly things occurred, and I kept continuing seeing everything happen. So it was like I seen proof, I seen the evidence, and that is what gave me the confidence to know that, okay, there's something here. There's more to what I truly am that I can see or imagine here. And I'm meant to do a lot and help a lot. And I've had, like I've done over, 35,000 readings in the last 3.5 years. And I've read different celebrities. And I've become friends with Matt Turner, who's of the Matrix Minds. I was on his podcast numerous times. And so it's like, it's just been, you know, rapidly happening of my confidence building, but I also don't allow it to affect my ego, because I've seen a lot of spiritualists and psychics let their ego take control because they get that dose of that knowledge, and then they get that confidence and it overruns them, and then their ego takes over, and it's like, that's not good. So I had to literally, because even though I question myself with every single reading that I do, I mean, every reading I go into, I question myself. Am I good enough? Am I doing this right? So, like, I do question myself every single reading that I do. No matter what, I still question myself. But it's what Raw tells me keeps me humble, because I don't allow myself to get too caught up in it, because that's when you become too confident and too um egotistical in it. And because I do question myself, like, it still, even though I've read Kevin Gates and Miley Cyrus and Elon Musk and a number of different other ones, and um done all the readings that I've done and had the success that I had, I still question every single reading that I go into. Am I going to be good enough? Am I good enough for this reading? Will I give them the right answers? And I still question myself. Just like before I came on here, okay, am I going to be good enough for this? Am I going to be able to succeed and accomplish? And then because I am a Scorpio, I like to plan out everything. Like I asked Erica, so what are we going to talk about? She's like, well, we don't plan things out. And I'm like, okay. So like I like to have things planned, and it's like, so I was like, oh no, and I started stressing out, like, what are we going to talk about? Am I going to have the knowledge to be able to speak on what she asked me? So it's like, just because I have some confidence and I show everybody that I have all this amazing confidence, I still question myself. And but I think that's what keeps a person truly humble and truly on that path of needing to know. Because if you stay in that, I'm competent enough, you don't want to learn. You feel like you've learned everything that you needed to learn. um you you don't continue, but you have to continue in this field of work, or in any field of work, of learning. You don't ever stop learning. And like, I take courses, nonstop. I have over 210 different certificates in spirituality, because I want to be able to, you know, master and know everything that there is to know about spirituality, everything to know about psychic abilities, everything to know about trance channeling. May it be, I've taken Rob Garther's trance channeling courses. I've taken, you know, different ones, courses. I mean, a number of different courses with different teachers. And it's like, still, I still will continue to take more and more, because there's something that they know that I don't, that I need to know. And that helps me continue on with, you know, trying to be as to keep my confidence level up. So, but there's that.
Yeah, it's definitely a journey. Like, this whole thing is a journey for us. So what I want to talk about is more, you did a lot of research on star seeds, and I guess we all have our idea of what we think a star seed is. And I was even just, I see some stuff too, like, okay, this person says they're Anunnaki, that person says they're Anunnaki. Then, like, what is the Anunnaki? Like, it's part Pleiadian, part Orion. But then it becomes this thing of a match of, sometimes it's the redhead people. They want to claim that they're the one true, wonderful, whatever there is to be. And then it's like, oh no, it's the blonde haired people. They get to only be Pleiadians because they're blonde. And then sometimes it's, Black people that say that they're either Orion or Anunnaki. And then it's like, but then whatever it is, it's usually this feeling of they're the only ones. And it becomes, it's some kind of contest. It's almost like ET racism. That's what I was gonna say. Is that ET, like they've taken
Yeah.
racism to another level? Like, I don't know if you wanted to talk about that,
Oh,
because
yeah. So like, when it comes down to different starseed origins, I mean, so the way that I find one starseed origin
They're far away. It's like it's making you very quiet.
Oh, okay. So the way that I find one starseed origin.
Uh-oh. Oh, you're on mute too. So yeah, because I really, even someone sent me a message today and I'm like, well, if these group of people think that they are this and they're about to get their gifts and their powers, like, don't you think there's other people here who are of a different origin? Like, there's not just one set of ETs on this planet, and there's not one set of ETs that are going through ascension.
Okay,
You know, there's
I'm
not
sorry.
one group of ETs going through ascension. That would actually be somewhat ridiculous. But, you know, like you say, it appeals to the person's ego that they are special because they are black, white, blonde, redhead, whatever the hell it is that they are. So go ahead.
Sorry, I accidentally hit the wrong button. I kicked myself out. So, okay. So when it comes down to the way that I do one starseed origin, isn't just through, you know, my intuition and you know, connecting with their spirit guides and their higher self. It is through one's natal chart. Um, it tells me, because I've done so much research and so many different courses, that I learned to find one's starseed origin through your natal chart. And it will tell you, regardless of how many people say that, no, you can't find one starseed origin through your natal birth chart. Yes, you can. Your natal birth chart literally is your footprint to Earth and to human life here. It will tell everything that you have done and did, just like the Akashic records do. And it's like, with that, you find out one's everything, their past, their lifetimes, as you know, when their soul first started, and the lifetimes that they've lived prior, you know, in between that. But one that one can have a soul origin of, my starseed origin is a blue avian Anunnaki, and um that's where my soul started. That's where I originated from. Just like Ra. Ra is a blue avian Anunnaki, and that is where our connection is. My connection to Ra is. And but one can also have had a lifetime in the Palladians. But that's not where their soul started at. But that's where they have a strong connection to oneself. That's where they did their most important work. Is there. Um, and there's not one origin better than the other. They're all the same. They're all one and the same. There's not, you know, the Palladians aren't any better than the Anunnaki. The Anunnaki isn't any better than the Palladians. It's like people get on that little hype of, oh, well, my race is better than yours. That they don't know what they're talking about. When they start doing that, the whole, pretty much like you said, you know, starseed racism. That's where I cut them off. I will not have no part in that, because I'm sorry, your origin as an Andromedan isn't any better than my origin as a blue avian Anunnaki. Just because one faction has had negative attachments to it doesn't mean that yours doesn't either. So they all are, you know, they all have a negative attachment at one point in time. And
that's definitely true, because I think people think like, oh, like Pleiadians can do no wrong, and what our Andromedans are just right, Terry. I don't know. I wanted you to go ahead and say if you had something. Throw your spoon in the gauntlet.
Well, you know, I will say just one thing is that Andromeda is an extremely large galaxy. So there are extremely, for the billions of stars and planets that we have in the Milky Way, Andromeda has just as many. So, it's hard to say that you've got, like you're talking about Andromeda as one race. There's probably 100,000 million different species on there, and even within our own galaxy. So the Pleiades has 7 different stars. So which when people are talking about it, they want to generalize, but I don't think you can generalize so much, and there's going to be factions, that are, there's going to be a group that's good, and there's going to be a group that maybe isn't so good. So like you said, you can't generalize and say, oh, these are bad and these are good. There's good and bad within everything. So yeah, it's important to be able to distinguish. Like you said, there's not, just because you're Pleiadian or you're Anunnaki doesn't mean that you're bad or good. It's just, like there's I think there's also has to do with the soul's intention.
Very much so. It seems so, like with so like in the Andromeda constellation, there's the Andromeda constellation and there's the Andromeda galaxy, and those are 2 separate places. And like with the Andromeda constellation, there's the Alpharats and the Mark and the Taiwan and the Almach. And so like there's just not, like, when it comes down to just one, just saying, oh, you're Andromedan. No, there's multiple different types of Andromedan. And just like with the Palladians, there's, multiple Palladians. There's the Taygeta and, the Altus and the Alcalon. And, so I mean, like, there's not just like one, just Andromedan or just Palladian. I actually give you, what Andromedan race you're connected to. And just because you're connected to that race doesn't mean that there isn't some fraction of that race that is negative, because there is negativity connected to every single race, every single fraction, every origin out there. There's the good ones and there's the bad ones. Just because you're here doing your Starseed mission and you're here to help and to, escalate, the ascension, that doesn't mean that you don't come from an origin that doesn't have negativity attached to it, because I'm sorry, but you do.
And I've asked someone before, because this young lady, she just really wanted to go with me, and I was just like, do you think when you die your ghost is going to be black? Like, you think your spirit is floating around being black? Like, black is whatever this is on this planet, right? So like, they don't, like, if you were somewhere else, you might be blue, you might be green, even here. So what? I don't know if you want to explain this, like, because like, sometimes as women we've had karma as men in other lifetimes. So I don't know if you wanted to go into, like, maybe past lives, what you've noticed with some Starseeds that, from their chart.
So like
rising.
So like there, it's not like if you're a female or a male in this lifetime, that doesn't mean that you have not been a male or if you were a man in this lifetime, that you weren't a female in your past life, because I'm sorry, but you were. It doesn't mean that you haven't been poor, rich, whatever. You have been every type of class known to the Richter scale. You have had millions of dollars and you've had $0. You've been the abused and you've been the abuser. You've done it all, and that is what's brought you here, to be able to help with the ascension. It's like you have to you know, before we come here, we sign a contract, a stars. It's not like a literal signature. It's an energetic signature. It's a starseed contract, and you go through multiple phases, and it's, you know, the phase of you have to drop your consciousness. You can't have the consciousness of, you know, a 12th dimension, you know, being, and then come here to earth. You just can't do that. You can't have that. So you have to be able to drop your consciousness, and by doing so you end up becoming either the victim or the victimizer, or both. And that can last one lifetime or many lifetimes. And it's to drop that consciousness, to drop your, to almost put a block on your heart chakra, so that you can go in and do the work to learn how to live a different life in a different way than you did as that 12th dimension being. And
To me,
so,
it sounds like you know, Osiris had to go through the 12 gates of the
yes,
zodiac, and it's like you also have to go through those different
yes,
gates to be a different thing at all times. Like,
because we're here to, we come here, we agreed to come to earth to help, and we can't help others if we are in a 12th dimensional mind frame. And because then we will think we know it all. We can never learn. And we know it all. We can do it all. We've done it all. We've seen it all. We've experienced it all. And there's nothing I can learn or accomplish because I've already done it, because I've already been there, done that. No, you have to literally go through these phases to get back to that 12th dimensional mindset and, you know, vibration. And, you know, there are, you have like the the um the the indigos who came here between 1920 and 1979, and that's the first phase of the starseeds that came in. And then you have the second phase from 1980 to 19, I think it's like 1990, I think it's 97. That was the um see the indigos, uh the crystallines, and then you have the rainbows that came in from 98 to now. And those are the ones that are coming in now. And it's like you go through these, you know, certain phases come in. Those that are in the indigos that came in, you know, that are alive now, those that, you know, are here now, knowing that they were, you know, they were born between 1920 and 1979, just know that this is more than likely your last run here. You're done. And because you've you've been here for many lifetimes. I've been here for 122 lifetimes. And so, like, Ross telling me that I need to explain something. So because I've been here for so long, I've lived so many lifetimes here. Um, and I've experienced so many different aspects of different lives. This is my last lifetime. And but the thing is that whenever I leave here, I once I pass away, I will be given an option to either reinstate my starseed contract or go back home to my home planet. And as he said, he goes, "You are coming back home, and that's all there is to it." Um, and he goes, "I put my foot down. There's no more." And he's like, "You're done here." And so it's like once I leave here, once I pass and I go back home, what happens is, let me start from the beginning. Sorry, my daughter walked in. Um, Literally, when you are approached by the elders while you are still on your home planet, for an example, I'll use as mine was. I was approached by my guardian and protector, Anu and Ra, to come here and fulfill a starseed contract to help humanity go through the ascension right now and prepare them. And but first I had to prepare myself, so that's why I had to go through all the lifetimes. I've been here since the time of Lumeria, and I had to go through all this to be able to get to where I'm at today. I had to live all those lives and experience all those and go through all that just for me in this lifetime right now. And once I agreed to do the Starseed contract, it's an energetic signature. I'm I'm instantly taken to a building, and I'm taken to a room where there's all these pods. They're all up in suspended animation, and I step into this pod, and as I lay down, these little levers lie down, all down on me. I mean, there's like hundreds of them that lie upon me, and they have like a digital pad on them, which give my body all the nourishment, nutrition, stimulation, um, everything that it needs. And then they have a device that they place on the tip of my sternum. It's where the seat of your soul is, and it literally extracts your soul. And the best way to put it is that they slingshot your soul to whatever planet you're going to do this contract on. Mine was here on Earth. I then was born into to my mother and father in Lumeria, and then I've lived all those lifetimes. Went through God, went through. I mean, like every lifetime, I swear it was hell. I mean, I went through hell in every lifetime. Like, it was not good. Every freaking past life reading I've done or had done or been shown, there's a lot that I'm not allowed to be, a lot that I'm not allowed to see, um, for a lot of different reasons. But it's like once I finally come to now, and then I come to the point where I finally pass away, I will be, greeted and offered to either reinstate my contract, and that's whenever they ship you off to the moon and they put you back into the you know, recycling process. The moon is the recycling process where you get reincarnated, and or you just turn around and you say, "No, I'm going home." Then your soul returns home, and once I return home, my soul will return back to my body, and it will then let the techs know that are in this room with these other all these pods that are in suspended animation, let them know that one has returned. I will then be assessed and be there for at least 2 or 3 hours, and then move into the next phase of that. But the thing is, because Earth is the only planet in the universe where time is different from everywhere else, when I return back to my body, when my soul returns back to my original body on my home planet, okay, as a blue avian Anunnaki, I will have literally only been gone 7 days. But because Earth's time is different than anywhere else, I feel like I've been here for 122 lifetimes. But really, in real term, outside of Earth, it'll only equal up to 7 days. And so it's really, you can feel like you are here and it never ends, but just know that it's shorter than what you think. I'm just going to say that. And you have to understand that once you leave here and you do return back to your body, your soul returns back to your original body, then you are looked at as one of the ascended masters. This is how these ascended masters become ascended masters. They've completed the starseed contracts. They've completed their, their cycle, and they've done what they've needed to do. And on most planets, except for a few, you know, they pretty much live their lives just like we do, except for you don't have to pay for to live on planets. And um there are a few out there that are just like Earth, where you have to pay to live there, like we do here. But mostly all of the other planets, it's not like that. There are some, as for instance the Octurians. The Octurians are a bit different. They all look the same. The males and females, all they all look the same. And everything is the same. It is like stepping into, I don't know, some weird vortex of looking through the mirror, because everything is identical. And because they don't want anybody to be jealous of what one has and when one doesn't have, because they are such a high dimensional vibrational beings, and they're here to do so much more than worry about, oh, she's got this and I don't. So it's like they're one of the most the Octurians are one of the most feared due to their technology and and their knowledge.
So people, I mean, are there people, can it be possible to think you're a starseed and you're not? Like, I mean,
No.
I guess people always kind of say, like, hey, if you're reading this message, then you are here now for a reason.
That's right. And that is very true. It's like you don't place your energy, doesn't go to something if it's not meant to go to it. So no matter what it is, whether it be a psychic, or a starseed, or an angel, whatever. If you're going to that and you're researching it, or you're looking into it, or you get this funny little butterfly feeling when you hear something about that, or you tune in and you want to hear more and you want to learn more, if your energy is being drawn to that, there's a reason for that. Because I'm sorry, but if you're not a starseed, you're not going to find any interest in starseeds. Why would you? You don't have, that doesn't call to you. You don't have nothing that says, hey, look at me, I'm a starseed. Come here, come here. No, if you're not a starseed, you're not going to find interest in it. If you're not an earth angel, you're not going to find angels interesting. If you are, if it just, if you're not meant to learn about it, then you're not meant to learn about it, because you only go to something, you're only drawn to something that you have an energetic footprint to. And and I firmly and truly believe that you set and you create every second and every aspect of your life before you come to each lifetime.
Like markers or breadcrumbs.
Yes. And you literally you set every aspect of your life, every second of every minute of every day before you come into this life. You write it out, and this is how you want to live it, and this is the reason why you want to live it. This is why you want to experience this. And I know people are going to hear that and be like, oh, well, what about when a person is abused? Okay, you don't know why they've chosen to experience that, what they're wanting to learn from that. I believe that, yes, some people are going to hear that and think, oh my God, well, this person didn't. No, but you don't know what they chose to experience. You don't know what they wanted to learn from that, because it could literally, a person could have been abused and took and saved millions of people from it. Because if a person had never been abused, they wouldn't know how to look for it, or how to see it, or how to know it, and what to see, and to be able to sympathize with other victims if they'd never gone through it. So they would have to have gone through it to be able to save all those millions of people.
So
And
when some people are, I don't know, I think I was kind of pointing in a direction. I'm sorry. Because I was really wanting to know this. Like some people are sent here to lead, but sometimes are they sent to lead and get lost? Because sometimes you hear something about like the Council of Five and the Council of Nine and the League of Light, and in these different, the federations, and then it's like, okay, then the next thing you hear, oh, this group is not the light, and this group is there's so many different groups.
Yeah.
Do some people come and maybe get lost in the shuffle of this and get used by ETs?
Intentionally?
Well, I guess you wouldn't intentionally get lost. I would assume that maybe they're getting manipulated by certain ETs, and they say, we represent this league and you're the leader and you're special, and then things kind of go.
Okay, this also falls into that.
Okay.
In my belief, this is just my belief, that also falls into, they chose to experience that. They, for whatever reason, they wanted that to occur in this lifetime. For whatever reason, they wanted, whatever accomplishment or reason they had for experiencing that to happen. I feel like they chose and they created that part of their life to occur, or for them to get manipulated or entangled with these different factions, these different groups, or to agree upon to go through whatever it is that they went through for a learning factor. It is because Earth is a school. It is a school. That's all it is. It is you come here to learn, and for whatever reason, whatever it was that they feel they needed to understand or learn in, their ascension of going through, their evolution as a soul, on their home planet, whatever reason they felt that they needed to experience that, so they can learn whatever it is that they chose to learn from it. I feel like it is all about you choosing to make the decision to experience that. For whatever reason, you've chosen to experience that, to learn whatever it is that you're wanting to learn from it. And that's how I see, and that's how I see, and I think that's how I'm able to get by, and be, I don't know if it's maybe the way that I'm able to understand or process certain things in life, because I see it as, I created the life that I live. I created every second of every minute, and now it's my decision to continue to go through it, to learn whatever it is that I've chosen to learn from it, for whatever reason. And I've never hid this from anybody. I've, before I was, my gifts were unlocked and everything. I'm an ex-drug addict. I've been to prison. And so it's like, I've never hid that from anybody. And if I would have never experienced it, I would not be where I'm at today. And I know, and I don't know if it's maybe the way that I'm able to process it, that if I chose, I wrote it in my book of life to go through, to become a drug addict, and then to end up in prison. And when I got out of prison, I became sober, and now I have, been, my gifts have been unlocked, and I've, have this, business of, my spiritual business, and I'm a different person, and I learned a lot, and a lot of patience and a lot of understanding, and I chose to do that, to put myself through that, to get to where I'm at today. Everything that I have gone through, I chose it to get to where I'm at and where I'm going for the better. And that's how I see it. I mean, you get entangled with all these you different, groups or whatever. Okay, I see it. I mean, I'm probably going to get a lot of slack on this because of how I do see it. People say, how can you think that? How can you feel that way, that a person doesn't choose to be abused? How do you know that? You don't know what
I'm
they
gonna
set out.
say this because you're saying that, because what people can't imagine is that if you really look at yourself, and if you really could understand, like right now you got like this very small vision of yourself, and if you could actually see the fullness of yourself and how much power that you have, that you realize that like, why would a firefighter go into a burning building? That's
Yeah,
because he's
they're
a fire.
going. Yeah,
Like, why, I was telling Terry, I like
exactly.
to use the word fuckery because there's some stuff I allow myself to get involved in, and I go
Yeah,
through the burning building, and everybody's like, "Don't go in the building," and I'm like, "I got it,
but
I'm
I have
fine."
to.
Then I come through the other side, and I'm like, "Huh, that was an experience." And
Yeah,
so people are like, "What? I cannot believe you just did that," so that you could say that was an experience. This is kind of
that
how
was
you
your
have to
experience,
live
though.
your life. That I remember one time too, I joined a business, I've joined churches, I've done so much stuff. And my nephew, he said, "Auntie, I thought you were going to get taken away and you were going to be taken into a cult." I said, "Because at the core of me is always me, and I know who I am. So even though I might see some things I don't like, or I might do some dangerous stuff, I just went to Armenia. I could have been in a suitcase right now. You know what I'm saying? But you
Yeah,
do it because you know that you have the power to transmute all time, space, and situations, right? So
and
you
maybe, and
can't
also,
imagine.
even if maybe in that moment in time you may not consciously know that you have that, subconsciously you do. You know that, and whenever one experiences something and goes through something.
What does not kill you makes you stronger.
That's right. And
Right?
because you're
Basically.
able to say, if you've experienced something so horrific, wouldn't you rather have been you than somebody else?
But
That's how
then
I
you
see it.
have that thing that you need to help someone else. Like, I could talk to people
Yeah,
about drugs. I could talk to people about, like Job Corps, working at a shoe store. I could talk to
yeah,
you. I could talk to just about anybody.
yeah. I've done every job there is. I was a
Right.
burger flipper. I was a manager. I was a phlebotomist. I was a nurse. I
Even me
was,
and her were both phlebotomists, and we were born,
yeah,
born on the same day. There's a lot we have in common. It's really crazy.
yes. So it's like, it's,
Mhm.
we experienced what we experienced for our experience, for our learning
For our
path,
experience.
for our ascension, for our evolution of our soul. Just because you don't see it or understand it, that doesn't matter, because
Yeah.
it's not meant for you to see or understand. It's as long as I see it and I understand it, and I know that that's what I know
Why
I
go into
was
a
supposed to
haunted
experience.
house? Why go
Yeah,
why go into a roller coaster with no,
yeah,
where you go
no,
upside
that's not
down
for me.
and you dangle? Why do we are
Yeah, why
dangerous
climb a
people.
mountain? Why, 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 why get in, why hitchhike? You know, whenever you know the risk of getting a serial killer. I mean, like, it's because it's for that person's learning experience, because that's what they chose.
Oh, wow.
And regardless of it turn out bad, or regardless if it turns out good, that's for their soul, not yours to judge.
So
Regardless if it's
then
good or bad.
this would lead to the abuser and forgiveness too, because does that help you when you think of this? Because you know, a lot of times it's, you know, you feel this person did this to me, they scarred me. How do they view this when it comes to you being the victim and the other person being the abuser, or vice versa? What
Okay.
about, I feel like in every situation you've hurt other people and you hurt
Yes.
yourself. Like, we
Yes.
can get really caught on the fact that other people have hurt us, but we've hurt other people, like,
Yeah.
no matter what. Terry, I know you've done something wrong. So I mean, it's like if we get to that point, I'll let you just say whatever you want to say about that. But how can we view ourselves from the other side, as not just, you can talk about being the victim, but also talk about us being the abuser, because you did mention that we've played all these roles, but
That's
then we
right.
can get a little bit self-righteous, like,
And see, and I can speak on that, because I have been, so, like, okay, this is another thing I don't hide, because I learned from this, and I understand it. When me and my husband were together before he committed suicide, before we separated, I was in a very abusive relationship with him. But the thing was, I wasn't the abused. I was actually the abuser. And so it's like, I've been in both positions. I've been abused, you know, not in any way that, you know, not in a horrible way. But, but I've been physically abused by him, but I also physically abused him as well. And it's like, I've been in both parts. And it's like, I was I am able to speak for me and on for myself, is that the reason why I experienced both ends of it, is because I needed to understand both ends. I needed to know what it was like to not only be the abused, but to be the abuser. For this reason, in this moment right here, to be able to speak on it. Because if I had never experienced both ends of the stick, I wouldn't have any right to speak on it. I couldn't address it. I couldn't, did it, you know, did I expect and want his forgiveness for me abusing him? Yes, I did. Was I sorry? Sometimes, not all the time. But did I expect
I
him?
respect that, because that is honest.
Yeah. Did I forgive him? And did I expect for him to forgive me? Yes, I did. Did I expect for him to forgive every time? Yes, I did. But was I expected to, forgive him every time? Yeah, but did I? No. Did I care? No. As long as he forgave me and I was good, that's all that mattered, because that was the mindset that I was in.
And we're
And
not
I
saying
learned from that.
this is wrong or this is right. This is just
No.
being real. This is just being
Yeah.
honest.
I'm just being me. I mean, like, I'm
Just
a
being
very
honest.
open, honest person. And I'm like, yes, this is how I was. That's not who I am now. Um, that's who I was. That's how I was. But is it right? No. Should I have done it? No. But I chose to do it because I created that. I wrote that for myself to go through an experience, because I felt that my soul needed to experience that for just like a moment like now, to be able to speak on it.
What do
And
you believe is the value of that? The value of being able to admit yes, I'm not always right. I've been wrong. I've hurt people and I've hurt them. And at sometimes I didn't care if I hurt them or not. What do you think the value of that is?
The value of it is has to do with the fact that I know that by me learning, by me going through that and experiencing that and not allowing myself to know or understand it then, but know and understand it now, I can actually help somebody else who's experiencing that and going through that, help them overcome that egotistical mindset and help them know that just because you feel that way right now doesn't mean that you're going to always feel that way or you should always feel that way.
What's the
And
danger? But what's the danger of
wow.
not expressing it or admitting it, or what do you feel is the danger?
What's the danger of it? Not knowing if you'll ever truly, if you're ever truly forgave by that person, because you never know what's supposed to occur for them in their life. Just like when my husband committed suicide, I never knew if he forgave me because he never got the chance to. Because we were separating and he chose to take his own life. And so he never got to see me now and know that I do have regret and I am sorry for the way that I was.
Mm-hmm.
That's the danger in it. Never knowing what that person's soul is meant to experience or what's going to happen to that person's soul and not knowing if they'll ever see your improvement.
I can't help but feel like there's people that do dark, nasty, dirty things, maybe. Not that they're like, this is not the totality of who they are, but they do things. And it could be these small little things, mistakes, even, but they can never admit that they fucked up. And I
No.
can't help but think that this is what will cost them their sanity one day.
Yeah,
That because
because
they
they're
cannot
stuck.
be honest and ever admit that they were wrong.
Yeah,
So
because
that's
they're
why I
stuck.
think, like, this is the reason why you're able to be sober and sane.
Yeah, because they're not able to see their failures. They're not able to see their faults, and because they have a mindset that they are better than, or they can never do no wrong, and it's because they are not healed because they have not allowed themselves to experience true forgiveness. And
Is
so they're
it
not
even
able.
true forgiveness, or is it? I mean, because you can want people to forgive you, but it is not their
True
job to
forgiveness is with
necessarily forgive
yourself.
you, right? You can because we don't always forgive people.
I'm talking about true
There's
forgiveness
no
within
time
yourself.
frame. There's no time limit. Maybe I'll forgive you right before I die. You know what I mean? And so I don't even know if the thing is to just to be forgiven, but it is to be at one with yourself. Terry, can you speak on that? Like, I'm just gonna let Terry say something because I
Yeah.
gotta get you on here, girl. Get you saying something.
No, I'm just enjoying your conversation here, and so I'm just taking this all in, and um, I
It's
think,
making me think about a lot of things,
yeah,
and
and
it's
there's a lot.
fun.
There's a lot here, and so we're, yeah, the forgiveness part of it, but I suppose at those higher dimensions, we are in contact with those people that we've had this interaction with here. So at the higher realms, I suppose there was some agreement and part of that whole learning process. Um, Yeah, I don't know. You know, it's just it's interesting. We don't know from this level. We don't know what happens at the higher. We can tap into it and stuff, but we're trying to understand a higher dimension from a lower dimension. So everything is going to come through, through this 3D process, and we are trying to understand something at a much broader from a much broader level at in those higher places. So,
well, I just got whipped up into a whole nother space with it because, well, I'll just say what I wrote. The naked truth, honest truth, does not require or look for forgiveness and acceptance from anything lesser than itself. If you are really on this path, and it's just taking me to a space that if you're really on this path and you're really honest with yourself about who and what you are, you're not necessarily expecting non-star seeds to understand you, and you're not looking for unhealed star seeds to understand you. You to find people that truly understand you will probably be so slim, very slim to none, and that you would have to be so honest with yourself about who and what you are that even if no one else saw it or understood it, that you would have to be okay as long as you know who you are. And I think that's when we got back into Prime Directive again too, because if Terry is my friend today and she's not my friend tomorrow, I still have, my soul still has a purpose, and it doesn't stop because Terry's mad at me or because Megan don't like me no more. Like my shit doesn't change.
Your life still goes on. It still goes on continuously, regardless if you, me, or whoever stops talking to you.
Right. We are the ultimate whatever you are.
Yes.
But I think the bottom line is like I'm being real with myself on who
That's
I
right.
am and what am I. And sometimes I used to tell people this too, like I'm an asshole. I am not. I don't know. People think I'm cool, but I'm like, nah, I think I'm really a jerk sometimes because sometimes, this is how, I think a way that is not the way that everybody thinks. And so I
And
feel
that's
like
what keeps you humble. And that's what keeps you humble. And that's what keeps you in the mindset that you stay in, because you're able to see that, hey, I know I'm not perfect. I know I'm a bitch. I know that I can be an asshole. I know that I can be rude. I know I can be distant. And I accept that about myself. But can you? And if you can't, that's your problem, not mine. As long as I'm okay with it, that's all that matters. And if you don't, then that's your problem. You got that problem within you, not me. That's you, not me, because I've accepted it. I'm good with it. As long as I'm good with it, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter if you're not. What you matter going to affect me in 5 minutes or 10 years from now? It's not. And I truly think that that's how one is able to stay humble and stay in the mindset and stay in this space of their true self and their true loving self, by being able to say, hey, I know me. I accept me. You can either do it or not. That's your choice. But as long as I accept me, that's all that matters. So,
and ultimately, we're all entangled and we're all one and we're all part of the divine source, right?
yes. And it's
So part of it is transcending and just being in that awareness that we may dislike someone for whatever reason, but that's still a part of us, or they're another me just having a different experience. So it becomes much broader perspective, and I suppose standing, and that's where it comes from, right? Is if you stand back and you look at things from not this perspective, but step up a little bit and see that, oh, wait a minute, this is all, like you said, it's a part of a contract, and we agree to have these experiences, but ultimately we are all from the same source. And it doesn't matter, yes, we may be from different stars, but beyond that, we're still from the same source.
And if that person is meant to be in your life to phase it in any way, shape, or form, then they'll be in your life. If they're not meant to be in your life, then they're not going to be in your life. And that's how I see it. Like, if they are supposed to influence your life some way, somehow, then they will. And whenever it's their time to move on to whoever else, or if they're meant to stay in your life, then they'll stay. But if they're not, then they will leave. And you never want to force one to stay in one's life because you feel that it's beneficial to you. You don't want to do that, because you're only delaying the process of them helping and moving forward in their own journey, and you're delaying your movement and on your journey. And because when you try to force somebody to stay in your life or stay around you, then you are trying to create a ripple in your time space of your life, and you're delaying your process. Because if they're meant to leave, then they've done what they've needed to do to help you. But if you try to force them to stay, then you're almost trying to stop time from moving forward, and you stop yourself from moving forward, and you stop them from moving forward. If it's their time to leave, then let them leave. Don't try to keep someone to stay if they're not meant to stay.
I never understood that about relationships. If someone is no longer wanting to be with you or in your space, they say, I can't breathe without you. I'm like, you better start breathing. You better.
And it's because they have a soul. They have cords connected on a deeper level. And, it also, like it says, that's also an area of just uncertainty, because it's like, one, if they're not meant to be in your life,
high, because you're trying to chase the point of which things were good.
Yes.
And when things are no longer good, and you're like trying to chase this point, right? Like that first high, they say, right? You're trying to chase this time when things were good, and you can't like reignite this flame anymore. You have to understand that it's taken its course. But I think because we're in American society where we're taught that you're supposed to be, together forever and get married, and like we just learned, we're always in this state of permanence, even in our residence, right? Like you buy a house and you live there till you die. All these things where it's like permanent, and I think people are chasing permanency and stability, and when they don't have stability and things change, they're so uncomfortable. We were not a people of
I think
stability.
they used to.
And we were people of change. We're people of migration and flow. And so now it's like, where is the flow?
Excuse me. I feel like that's how it used to be. I feel like that's how people used to be. They used to be stuck in that you have to stay mindset. You're meant to stay in that marriage. You're meant to stay in that. You're meant to stay. Now, the youth and the people that are here, have come in now. They don't do that. It's like they're constantly moving and, going somewhere else, or traveling, or living on their own whim, and, not wanting to be in a relationship, and not wanting that, because I'm sorry, but the men these days scare me.
I mean, they do. The men nowadays, they scare me because they're not right. Okay, if they are, if if you are not born and was raised in the same time frame as me, you scare me because they're not right. They because they were raised differently. They were raised with a different mindset, and and a lot of them. I'm sorry, but they were all. A lot of them have been, you know, have had a game system in front of them, and they don't know how to interact with people. Like a real life person. You know, they don't know what human interaction is, so they become very awkward and very weird and very I don't know, it's just it's not natural, but before they didn't have, the internet back when we were growing up. So we didn't have, we had to have face to face conversations. We had to, you know, if we wanted to see somebody or talk to somebody, yeah, we could call them on the phone from our house, or we had to go to their house and see them face to face. Now we don't have to leave our house. We don't have to have human interaction. And people, the people nowadays, especially the men nowadays, they don't know how to act around people, around women.
Hmm.
I feel here in the USA, I can say that they're
Hmm.
awkward. It is very weird, and they're very standoffish, but they come alive, and
They're kind of stuck because, okay, I'm going to tell you, honest to God, like when I was younger, we have the Me Too movement, and there's some things that really did need to go down because I just remember being in high school, and when boys hug you, they're really hugging you because they really want to feel your boobs.
yeah,
So anyway, like we have this. So I remember like you trying to go to the bus and somebody touch your butt. Like people needed to learn boundaries.
yes, they
But
don't know
now
boundaries.
we've gotten to the point where when men see you, they look like this. Up in they're like, I can go to CVS and in the parking lot, it's like this. People don't. They're like, oh my god, I didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, because one, they're scared, and two, they don't know how to act. They don't know how to interact because they come alive behind the behind the screen, on the internet. They become their true self. They become alive. But then when they're in front of a person in a face to face with a real human, real life, they don't know how to react. They don't know how to act because they don't know what that other person's gonna possibly say or do, and they don't know if they look at a person wrong, if they're going to scream rape, or if they're going to scream, oh, you're looking at, or something. So they're awkward, they're scared, they're nervous, they don't know how to act. And then that brings out those ones that who are very makes one feel very uncomfortable because they're awkward, because they're nervous and they're scared and they're uncomfortable. And
Well,
then it's
then,
like,
because you said this, then we would have to talk about this. Is it a real war of the sexes, or is it an imaginary war of the sexes that's going on in America? So it's like
God,
I don't
that's a
know,
good
there's a
question.
lot going on.
I
I
mean,
know
like,
with black people, I can tell you if you go, don't like the Cheesecake Factory video lady, and so they like it's a lot going on with people. Oh, and I think this is it too when they say all men this and all women that and all black men this and all black, and it's like, oh no, this isn't. It's some type of manufacture. Some of it is manufactured, but we had some problems, but it almost seems like we're going backwards, even like race wise. So I don't know. We could just
yeah,
go on and on. So I don't
yeah,
know. That's like the whole.
yeah. And it's
That
sad because people don't know how to be a human.
there you go. We don't know how to be human.
We don't. People don't know how to be human in front of other humans.
And again, are we humans?
No,
Since
not all
we're
of
discussing
us.
starseeds, are we humans?
But our soul isn't human, but our physical body is. We are, our soul is most people's soul don't come from planet Earth, but your human, but your body, your avatar that you're in right now is human, and you're here to have a human experience with a non-human soul within it. So it's like you come here to have this human experience, knowing or not knowing that your soul is not human. And but we don't know how to be human no more in our human bodies with our non-human souls.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what kind of bodies these were, and I don't really know what is humans.
No, human is, I guess, whatever we would consider these bodies to be here on Earth.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's what I know. This avatar to be is a, an human Earth body, and but my soul is a blue avian Anunnaki, but my soul is different than this human body, this avatar that I'm in. But I chose to come here to experience this human avatar body with a non-human soul.
So if anybody has anything they want to question, say, whatever, give us some thumbs up. Let us know you're there. I know Nikki was here. Kendrick was like, "Am I allowed to observe you all because I am a male?" And I was
Oh
like,
my God, I'm not
"Women of the
saying that.
stars is not for women. It's we are born of the stars.
Yeah,
The womb of this of the stars." And then let's see who was there. Dom. So the numbers go up and down. Victor was here, but because you talked about being human, and I did want anybody, if you had some questions, be like post it if you had something to say
yeah,
about it. Like people want to talk to entities and
yes,
ETs
amazing.
so bad, but I
Hit me
find
up.
that quite disturbing. But I
Why?
find that you want to know why? Because you can't even enjoy being human long enough. You have children you don't speak to, you have neighbors you don't talk to, you can't get to any level of forgiveness with your parents, and there's people who are just, you can't even be, you can't talk to your neighbor, which I know it's difficult, guys. I know it's
Yeah,
difficult because people don't think always the way that we think, and they don't see life the way that we do. But then, what we really began to talk about was the law of allowing people to be themselves without trying to fix them or change them, and understand that you are a multidimensional being who functions on more than one frequency.
yep.
And so sometimes you have to come down out of the clouds and say, and deal with people where they're at, not
But
necessarily to try to fix them or change them. So
but
it's a
see,
little, go ahead.
I also understand how it is that even having it being a non-human soul in a human body, I feel more comfortable interacting with non-humans because that's where I find my comfortability at. Because I'm not, my soul's not human, and uh being able to connect with different extraterrestrials, different beings, I find comfortability into that. And because
Then what is the point of being a non-human soul in a human body if we can't?
I feel like I'm living this everyday human life, experiencing the human experience of living here on Earth, paying bills, living my life day to day as a human
But then
here,
who would we
helping
be
others,
helping?
helping
Then who
others,
are we helping? So we're
whoever comes.
helping each other? Or are we here to help humanity? What that would be it, right? Like, what are we here to do? Because I hear people say, I just got to get out of here. I can't stand it. I'm not coming back no more. And not that I don't relate or understand, but then who are we here to, how are we helping?
Whatever. So like, how are we helping? And it doesn't matter if one person gets it, one person hears it, or a million people hear it or get it. Whatever it is whatever message you are relaying, whatever message you are giving, and the person hears it and gets it and understands it and feels it within themselves, deep within their soul, that resonates with them, and that actually help them to see themselves in a different light, or help them unlock their gifts and put them on the new path of healing and spirituality. And if it's just, that's helping. Even if it's just one person, you're helping. You fulfilled your mission, even if it's just one person. And you're living, and I see it that way. And that's how I see it, is that I know I've helped many people, and I'm also here to help myself go through the experience of living a human life with a non-human soul. But I feel more comfortable when I'm interacting with non-human beings.
I'm going to tell you right now, I get it because I learned one time. Okay. So when I was in finances, when we were learning about the science of getting rich and the laws and stuff like that, the universe of laws, and we were told about the fact that if you wanted to help homeless people, can you go down to the street in the street and help homeless people? They were like, no, because what happens is you end up lowering your vibration when you do it. But when you create a homeless shelter that employs people, that shelters homeless people, or you start a soup kitchen, like where you wouldn't go down into the level of everyday being with the people that you're helping, but you would create on a higher level these things that or systems that could help. And I don't mean the system, but that's why we need to be here to go beyond the system and create our own systems to help. So now that actually does make sense to me.
Yeah.
What you're
So
saying.
there's some that are meant to go down and be in the depths of the dirty part of, the worst of the worst, and help them. And then there's some that are meant to just help
And we've all
those
done that
that.
because we're born in a certain place. We're born into families
Yep.
that aren't starseed families. And then went to school with non-star seeds or star seeds mixed in. And then we work jobs. And then we just get to this point where we're like, okay, I can't live below and subsist. I have to rise up. So it makes sense. In our
Yeah.
whole life, touched people and planted seeds. And then this comes a time where it becomes maybe too acidic for us, Terry. Would that be like how you would consider it? Like it's the environment is too acidic. And now we're like, okay, I've done the most that I can now. I guess too. Like, yeah, like if you went swimming and you were in the bottom of the pool for a certain amount of time, but at some point you have to rise up. You cannot stay at the bottom of the pool. Huh.
Because you'll
Makes sense.
drown.
Yeah, because you're drowned. We've been holding our breath for a certain amount of time.
Yep.
It's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
I love it. Terry. Hey, Kahindi. I don't know how to say your name properly, but how you doing?
Hello.
But anybody have any questions? We're about to wrap up. This was a really good, in-depth conversation. I
Yes.
don't think it's the same as anywhere else. It's
No,
only
it's not.
divided here with me and Terry because
That's
we
right.
do because we're deep.
So I'm gonna pull a couple of cards real quick for
Ah,
everybody, and
she's just
because
gonna pull some cards, collective or individual.
um, I can do individual. Do we have time to do individual? If not, I can. I mean, I can just do
If
collective.
anybody, they'd have to put their name on there for to be individual, but
I should have said that. We should have said that. I'm sorry. I just thought of it just now. It's just like
well,
we
good
got
thing
caught up.
to wait. So if somebody wants a card, she's gonna pull it.
And I'm gonna do because I'm revamping my image. I'm going to be revamping my website and everything. And to be just focusing on starseeds and extraterrestrials. I'm actually working on a program for individuals who feel as if they are starseeds and they want to have an ET contact experience and learn their starseed origin and have communication with them. And I'm also creating another program where, if one has experienced and knows that they're a starseed and has experienced contact or possibly alien abduction, um, to work on that with them and to give them the understanding and work through that. I'll still be doing all my other readings. You just have to request them. But it's mainly going to focus on starseeds and ET contact, alien abduction, some, QHHT, quantum healing, hypnosis therapy, and some trance channeling and starseed DNA unlocking. So, yeah. So I'm going to use my Galactic Heritage deck and possibly my ET Experiencer deck. So if anybody would like a card, please let me know.
Well, Terry, you don't want your own card?
She's muted. Terry, you're muted. We can't hear you.
Yeah, sure. Sure. You can, yes, pull a card for me, please.
Okay. And then maybe pull a card for Kendrick because he says he has zero memory of my planet, but I have several skills that allow me to clean Gaia. Okay, Kendrick, I told you we're not just for women now. We're for you. Okay, we're gonna pull this card for Terry, and then we're gonna pull a card for you. Okay, Kendrick. And my house is smelling good because I was cooking some wings. I had them seasoned for 2-3 days, just sitting up in there and like, ooh, it smells so good right now. I'm like, baby, I told my son, make me some rice. I'm from South Carolina. I need some rice.
How was your trip to Armenia?
Oh man, I enjoyed it. It felt actually weird to leave Armenia. It really did. I was really comfortable, and I got lots of beads from there. So I got some fire agate from there. I'm going to be working with. I got some coins, some World War II coins from there.
Really?
Yeah, and
wow.
It wasn't like a huge energetic hit, but I really enjoyed going to some of those. What are those places called? Monasteries. So they're really pagan temples that they just went and turned to monasteries, and they just like file it down and slap some stuff on the wall real quick and take it over. You know how that goes. So,
wow.
But you could tell, the guide, he could tell based on where the altar was when the altar faces the certain direction. So it was really eye-opening, but man, it was just, I don't know, it was cool. It always shocks me sometimes how the old world is so new. You know what I'm saying? Like you're going to the old world where the ruins are, but everybody's wearing Gucci, Prada, blah blah blah, and everybody's just got $200 haircuts, and I was like, wow,
Mm,
this thing is woo.
dang.
Yeah, that's really interesting because all that old world is like lost.
Wow, that's sad.
It's it's very strange.
So, Terry, what I got for you is I got homesickness, which is Vega, and it's the past. And then I got belief systems, which is Earth present. So when it comes to Vega past homesickness, the early Vegans mystics retained clear memory of the source from which they fragmented, but as eons passed, that memory faded and was replaced by the profound yet vague feeling of homesickness. One reason why they were so devoted to their spiritual practice was to recapture that feeling of being connected to the source. Even though they understood the reasons for physical existence, there was an underlying desire to return home. If you have this feeling, know that it is an ancient one. It requires you to embrace physical reality as it is before you can return home. This is an important lesson. So what I get from this is that you are definitely feeling this homesickness within your soul. Like your soul is yearning for that connection with your home, with your soul origin. And you have a homesickness feeling and you're missing it within your soul. And it's being being Vega, which is the Lyrans, um, tells me more than likely at one point in time this can either be your soul origin or it can be a time where you lived a lifetime as a Lyran, Vega Lyran, where you are missing that connection to those beings and what they represented. Then you have the belief system, which is earth present. There is a human tendency to cling to belief systems and recognize them as fact without realizing that they are illusions. In fact, any construct of our minds, beliefs, thoughts, or emotions is an illusion and not representative of our true nature. As aware of our consciousness beyond the human experience. This is seen as a unique human trait, one that obstructs our growth at every turn. Take a look at your belief system and your view of the world. See them as constructs of ego rather than universal truth. Only one truth exists, that you are pure consciousness. Everything else is an illusion. So, what this is saying is that your belief system that you have here on earth is counteracting with your belief system that you had on your home planet. And it doesn't match up. And that's why you're feeling this homesickness because you feel as if the belief system you have been given and you know now as here on earth wasn't the same as it was on your home planet.
Mhm.
And you have this 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 eager to reconnect with it and to find it and to connect with it again, but it's like you're not you're unsure of how to. And what it's saying is that you need to look at it as this belief system here on earth as an illusion, and because that's all that it is.
Mhm.
And try to find that connection with your home planet so you don't have this homesickness anymore. um I'm gonna pull you one more card. I just feel like I need it. There's more here, and I know we were supposed to do a reading a while back,
Mm.
and I do feel like we still need to. There's a lot here um for you that you know touch more on a personal level, and oh wow.
So I use my ET experience your cards, and it says consider regression. your your subconscious remembers more. So what this is saying is that you need to consider possibly doing a regression, um, or tapping in more to figuring out where this belief system counteracts, and where this homesickness is coming from and why. We could definitely do that, because needing to have, you know, this considering regression, it's saying that you need to consider tapping in and finding out where your belief systems interact and counteract with this homesickness, and with who. And there's a lot there, um, with that, meaning your aggression, you need to definitely find out who you need to connect with and why. So, does it make sense? Any of that?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, no. I know this is what I've been going through. So it's very insightful. Thank you.
You're welcome. So yeah, we could definitely do. I do feel like you definitely would benefit from a starseed reading, and possibly, I know for a fact that ET contact. I know you've had contact for sure. And possibly, my I offer it's spirit guide and ascended masters meditation hypnotherapy session, and it's pretty much the same thing as doing a regression. I take you and walk you through a meditative session, and it's like but the way that I do it is like I'm in with you, and I'm holding your hand, allowing my gifts to flow through me to you, so you're able to have the interaction that you do in real time. I take you and walk you through, and when you come to the other side of the bridge, there will be a being or beings waiting there who chose to come through for you, and you'll be able to speak with them, and they'll be able to speak with you in real time. And then you are able to pick three that you would like to have communication with. May it be a spirit guide, an angel source, an ancestor, a loved one, whoever it may be, a spirit guide, a god, a goddess, a deity, whoever it may be, to have in real time communication with. And I do feel like that would be a lot of very beneficial for you, because you'll be able to get answers to questions that you've had for a very long time from a few people and a few beings. And I do feel like that would definitely be very beneficial for you. And because there's a lot going on with you that I feel that you've been trying to work on and work through, and it's just like it's almost like you keep hitting this brick wall and you're not able to pass this barrier. And to understand what's really going on, it's like you keep hitting this wall. It's like you get to a certain point and it's like you can't go past it.
Right.
So yeah, definitely I feel like those would be the readings that would be most beneficial for you and help you. So if you're interested, let me know.
Okay. I will. Thank you.
Exciting.
You're welcome.
I've been looking forward to Terry being challenged and trying something new. And I was thinking
Gary's always challenged and trying something new.
I know, but something new, like well into that discomfort zone.
Yeah. Yeah, she's definitely had contact. She's had experiences, and I'm just going to go there. I'm just going to leave it at that, because that touches more on a personal level of, I don't like to get too personal on lives like this, and I'll just leave it at that she has had contact, and that's that.
Kendrick Bullard.
Yes, Kendrick.
So Kendrick says I'm a Pleiadian, a blue
Are
ray.
you serious? Are
Yeah.
you serious? Because wow. Okay.
He
Okay.
says a Pleiadian blue ray starseed incarnate with zero memory of my planet, but I have several skills that allow me to clean Gaia.
Okay. So
Okay.
the first card that fell out for you is equal value philosophy, Pleiades future. And the second card is living in the now, the Kantian dolphins parallel. So with the equal value philosophy, Pleiades future, humans have gotten used to polarity and inequality. However, the Palladians' philosophy of equal value sees all things as equal, such as gold and a stone. When they exchange with others, they do so from a place of equality, and the exchange becomes one from the heart rather than for profit or gain. This card asks you to examine your emotions about the fear of not having enough, the issue of fairness and difference between wants and needs, and always wanting more. Equality of all things is a universal principle, but we must first heal our fear of lack before we can fully embrace this principle. So, first off, this has to do with your spiritual belief and your spiritual fear of not having enough to give on a spiritual basis. And you feel that you're giving, but you're not giving enough because you don't understand how to give the right amount. And before you're able to give to others or to Gaia, you have to first be able to forgive, heal, and give to yourself. So you need to find the equal value in your own true self by connecting with the Palladians and the Palladian energy. They will definitely help you do so. Um, I do feel like this has a lot to do with more than just a fear of lack of, but more so the fear of not knowing how to give more and giving an equal value amount to not just yourself but to others. Um, then you have living in the now, Kantian dolphins. So the dolphin's consciousness, more evolved than humans, has the capacity to be rooted in the present moment and to live fully there. This explains their playful nature and how interactions with them bring humans into balance. As the human species and brain evolve, we will need to develop this skill as well. In doing so, we free ourselves from attachments of the past and worries of the future to create an abundance of energy for the now moment. This creates more joy and profound feeling of connectedness to the universe. Every day, focus on your breath. Keep intention rooted there. Now is all that exists. So what this is saying is for you to be able to understand, you know, more of you and your soul, you need to connect with the now and feel feel that and develop that skill of staying rooted in the moment and connecting with the dolphins. I don't know if you have a connection with dolphins or not. Um, doing a dolphin meditation connecting with them, or even listening to dolphin sounds, and calling upon them to help bring you into your breath and into the more rooted into the now and more into their state of consciousness, will help you find that equal value of how to give to not just yourself, but to the earth, and to find who you truly are and understand it more. I'm going to pull you one more card from my ET Experiencer deck. And I do feel like you would definitely, even though you say you're a Pleiadian and and the Pleiadian card came up, I wouldn't doubt that you've led a lifetime as a Pleiadian. I would definitely feel that you would benefit from a starseed reading. And I'll also say you've also had ET contact many times. And like I was telling Terry, I don't want to go fully into it because that's more personal. So I would definitely suggest those two readings. So I did 2 card spell out for you, and it's multidimensional and time traveler. Multidimensional, your presence beyond this dimension. So this does speak of you being a multidimensional being, that you have lived, your soul has lived in many dimensions, many different realms. And you also in this lifetime are living 1 foot in this world and 1 foot in the astral. And with time traveler, there is an aspect of time traveling involved. So when you go to bed at night, you do a lot of traveling in your sleep. You do a lot of time traveling. You probably even experienced actual time travel, but you've also experienced in your past lives. You have a strong connection, and you probably have a lot of you've probably done some research or find a familiarity in time travel. Quantum quantum healing, quantum physicists, doing different aspects with learning about different dimensions. And it's because you have this like lingering knowing that there's something there, and you find a connection to it, and you want to know more about it. And definitely feel that with the time travel, you're doing, more than likely you're a dream walker, and a dream walker is one that is able to, and with it having multi dimensions there, you do a lot of astral traveling in your sleep. And so you're traveling a lot, doing a lot of work, probably more than likely for the Galactic Federations of Light. And you're probably on the front lines of helping during this spiritual war. And that's probably why you don't have a lot of memory of your past lives, or your lifetime as a Pleiadian or any other extraterrestrial lifetime. With being a dream walker, you literally are able to step into one's dream, make them aware that you've stepped in there, or you're able to pull somebody else into your dreams and make them aware of it. And you're also able to affect time and different realities and timeline jumping in your sleep time. So be very cautious on that. It would be beneficial for you to learn a lot about it. But like I said, those 2 readings probably would be very beneficial to you. They'll give you answers to questions that you didn't even know you had when it comes to your soul and your contact that you've experienced. And it'll give you insight on, we'll also be able to touch more on the reading that we've done here, with the multidimensional and the time traveling and everything. So yeah, if you are interested, please let me know. And if that made sense, or that was familiar to you or whatever, please let me know in the comments, okay? I can't hear you.
Okay, Carrie Love. Carrie wants a card.
Okay. Did Kendrick respond yet? I
No,
can't
he
see
hasn't
your comment.
responded yet.
Okay.
We gotta find.
Do what?
No, I'm about to find you because you didn't. Your website is down or it's up.
No, it's still up.
Okay.
I'll send you the link. Hold
I
on.
gotta find it then.
Hold on.
Oh, I got it. I think. Let me see.
Here it is.
Is that one with you? So glad you are here, Megan.
Okay, Carrie. So you have calling our parts home, serious future, and then you have renewed hope, Zeta Reticuli present. So calling our parts home, when we connect with the future serious energy, it acts as a force that nudges us towards the integration of all of our parts, the shadow and the light. If you have had lifetimes of deep polarity and struggle, this serious energy can provide a profound healing if you allow yourself to embrace all parts of you, even those you don't want to see. Take a quiet moment and visualize the star Sirius. With each inhale, breathe in its energy. With each exhale, release old, separated parts of you into the light of Sirius. In doing so, you call all parts of you home. So, what this is saying is that you have a very strong connection to Sirius, and you are needing to connect. You're wanting to connect. You're struggling with healing the bad parts of your human experience, and you're not you're needing help with that healing process. And by calling on the serious energy, they definitely will help you. And by being able to allow that energy to actually work, that is when the healing will start. So you have renewed hope, and it's Zeta Reticuli. When we live in fear, we live in isolation. We often withdraw from those we love in order to protect ourselves. The Zetas did this as they passed through their species crisis. But now that this crisis has been averted, they are reaching out to their family, genetic and spiritual, who help them in their darkest hours. It is time for you to do the same. Even if you feel life is still difficult, open yourself to receive the support and love from your family, whether it is a genetic or spiritual family. Do not be afraid to show your true self to them, and know that they will love and support you unconditionally. So, this is also speaking of you lived a lifetime as a Zeta, and you are still carrying some of that their isolation of not being able to connect with with your family, spiritual or DNA wise. And by doing so, by finding that connection and allowing yourself to connect with your soul family or your DNA family and opening yourself up, you open yourself up to healing all parts of you and allowing yourself to interact with your soul. I'm going to pull you one more card. Oh. So, um, so the next card that came out is abductee. You've had a fearful contact experience. So, um, with that, um, do you identify yourself as an abductee? Abductees are contactees who interpret their experience as negative and associate their meetings with displeasure or loss of free will. If you have memories of extraterrestrial abduction, they can be difficult to verbalize, can leave you with post traumatic stress. If you are receiving this card, it is not meant to place fear in you, but instead it is to help you give some resources and guidance. Discussion, a discussion with the person who is able to help you, either online or in a reading, can help you feel safe and ultimately realize you are not alone. They can also support you with resources for understanding your encounters. It is encouraged for you to reach out if you feel guided. Then you have do your research. The answers you seek are readily available. So I'm not going to go fully in on this because, like I said before, this touches more personal than anything, especially this card. And I will say you've had an abduction experience more than likely. Um, and you may be aware of it or you may not be aware of it. But from what I'm getting, you have been because you've done your research in the past and you kind of brushed it off as being, like, oh, whatever, that didn't happen to me kind of thing. Well, maybe you should contact me because I do feel like you may benefit from an ET contact and alien abduction reading, um, and get the answers that you have been looking for a very long time. Okay, so
she said, I have chills in my body, but I don't have any memories.
Okay.
Kendrick said, yes, it resonates. Namaste to your grace.
Yes, thank you.
And then Jax, you like, well, Carrie said, I will be in touch.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, we can definitely get you scheduled. You can just message me on Messenger or on my website. Either one. But yeah, I definitely feel like we should definitely connect. Like, yeah. So Jax, that's my grandson's name.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Jax is in the mix.
Right. So you have, oh, hold on. Your first card is Cosmic Midwifery, Octurus Parallel, and then your next card is Healing, Crisis, and Purging, Orion Present. So with this, the first one, Cosmic Midwifery, all civilizations need guidance, seen and unseen, that help them grow. The Octurus energy has guided humanity from a place of compassion and unconditional love since its inconception. It plays the role of a cosmic midwife, assisting us through birth and death in the physical reality. This energy also helps us through major life transitions. You pull this card because you have a connection to the Arcturus energy in this life and in others. The energy is working with you again to reconnect. Visualize a bright orange star and breathe in its energy directly to your heart. So, what this is saying is that most definitely you have a connection to the Arcturians, and you have been longing for that connection with them, um, because your soul very ancient, and you were here and helped with when Earth was created, and you definitely are longing for that that assertiveness and that connection and that transition again. Um, your soul remembers it. Your soul is definitely crying out for the reconnection with Earth, the creation of Earth's energy, and also with the Octurians. Then you have healing, crisis, and purging Orion present. So what this says is more than likely you have also lived a lifetime as an Orion. Orion has different places as the Bellatrix, um, and so forth. There's many different origins in Orion. This doesn't give a very specific place, but it just focuses on just Orion itself. Whenever healing takes place, so does purging. This means that the old toxic energy has to be released. Often, we interpret this release as a sign that things are getting worse. They are not. Even on Earth now, as we are purging and transforming, it looks like we are getting sicker, but we are actually releasing a lot of old toxic energy. This card asks you to not fear this purging process because it is an essential part of transformation. In fact, seek it out. It is time to let go of some ancient patterns that you have carried for lifetimes. As they release, know that the purge is a good sign of healing. So there's a lot of negativity connected with Orion, and it is simply saying that you may have carried a lot of that negativity on a soul level with you here, and it's time that you start to release that and let go of all toxic energy that is weighing you down in this lifetime, and that it's okay to purge. It's okay to be caught up in the process where things feel like they're never going to get better. And that's where a lot of us are. We feel as if things are not getting better, they're only getting worse. No, it's only, it's getting better. It's releasing, and it's bringing awareness to what needs to be released is what's happening, and awareness needs to be brought to the toxicity that you're holding on to from your past lifetimes and this lifetime, and it's time to release it. By connecting with the Orion energy, I would definitely connect with them and ask them to help with releasing that energy, and I would connect with the Arcturians as well. um and then you have Orion again. So you've lived multiple lives in Orion. And it says you've encountered a being from Orion. So this does speak of you've had extraterrestrial contact with a being from Orion, which I do feel it's more like a spirit guide. But your next card that fell out as well, it's UFO Classroom. You take part in learning abroad, abroad of craft. So what with this speaks upon you. You have extraterrestrials have much they would like to teach us. Some learning involves technology, some are about our individual roles as contactees, and others have to do with spiritual topics such as consciousness and understanding of the multidimensional world around us. This card confirms that you have gathered typically aboard a UFO craft and engaged in group learning for these purposes. A sense of helpfulness and advancement in your psychic abilities and spiritual connection is often the result. If there's a subject you are particularly curious about, hold that request in your heart and mind. This can often sign you up for learning about this on a higher level with the help of your extraterrestrial guides. So what this is saying is you've had contact and you have gone aboard a ship and you've done some learning, you've done school with extraterrestrials, and in not just this lifetime but past lifetimes as well. And not only with guides, not just from guides from Orion, but from different fractions. But it is simply stating that you have had contact and you have done some schooling aboard a ship. And I do feel like an ET contact reading and even a starseed reading would be very beneficial to you, and possibly even a light worker soul frequency reading, which touches on your soul as a light worker and where your frequency and vibration is set and how to raise it and to avoid any downfalls with your vibration and how to keep it at a level that it needs to be at for your work as a light worker. So please let me know if that made sense and resonated with you. Okay. And if you would like to get a reading done, please be sure to contact me. Okay.
Welcome to class.
Yes. Is there anybody else?
So far, no. What we've been on for 2 hours. So what, Terry, did you have any thoughts, anything you'd like to say?
Well, I just want to thank Megan for her insight and for sharing so much about herself with us. It's not always easy sharing our story, but sharing our story makes us aware that anybody who shares this story as you have, you're putting yourself out there and you're making yourself very vulnerable. And
Yes.
People have to appreciate that you wouldn't be doing this if you're some kind of a phony or some kind of a fake. And I'm absolutely not saying that. I'm saying that you definitely are coming from your heart space and you're being very vulnerable, and thank you. We appreciate
You're very welcome.
your being in that place and your insights. And so thank you very much.
Well, thank you for having me. But I do appreciate it, yes. And I try to be very transparent. I try to be very open and honest with who I am and what I do and why I do it. So yeah, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
And thank you for having me. And Erica, did you want a card?
I did, but I want you by myself.
Okay, girl. We'll get together after the live.
Okay, don't hang up. Don't hang
I
up.
won't. I won't.
But yeah, I just want to thank you. And yeah, we just went to a whole different level of searching in this what is a star seed and why are we here?
Yeah.
And I think
I
we
don't have
just
the normal views on what every star seed has. I don't because most of my training. Yes, I have 210 different certificates in all areas of spirituality, but I have those just because people need certificates. They want to see that you have training in there. But my training comes from from my guide, and I what I have and what I teach and what I give is what I know and what he's taught me. And, you know, he's helped me with being able to be transparent. He's helped me with being able to be open and honest and to see things for what they are. But he's also taught me what a true starseed is. And it's not your everyday look of a starseed. And people think that a starseed is just a soul that didn't originate here, and that they have all these gifts and they have all these powers and they're meant to do all these things, but there's so much more than that, and people don't get that. They put too much of an expectation on the word starseed, and so people don't think that they could be a starseed because there's too high of an expectation put on it nowadays, and that's not what it is. Yes, you have gifts, you have abilities, and you're meant to do great things, but not to the point to where you don't think you can't do it. And just because you help one person, you accomplished what you came here to do. Or if you helped 5 million people, you accomplished what you were meant to do. You chose how you were going to live this life before you came here, and you chose it. You wrote out every aspect of it to learn from every aspect that you wrote out. And it's not to get caught up in, you know, the glitz and the glamour of being a star seed, and to see it where they're this above all, and you can never accomplish that, because if you have a calling, or if you feel drawn to star seeds, or you feel that word star seed gives you tingles, or you find it draws you in, then you're a star seed, regardless of if you are meant to do spectacular things and help 5 million people, or if you're just meant to help one person. You're a star seed. And don't let the fact that people are making the word star seed to be some spectacular thing, like no one can be it, affect you, because that's not what it is. So
I like that because I hear people say, "No, I'm not. I'm just a mom.
mm-mm. You're not
I'm
just a mom,
just
you're
a
more than that.
barber. I'm just a whatever it is." And it's like, no, even your barber who sits there and listens and gives you feedback, like, and they give nurturing to the soul, just like that bartender, just like that
That's right.
pastor, just like that. You know what I mean? And so to say you're just a mom or just a dad or just a mechanic, like you're in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing with the right people, and that's really what counts. It doesn't mean that you're supposed to be, this parishioner with thousands and thousands of followers. I honestly feel like that's just kind of a trap where most people kind of get stuck and they lose their identity because you don't have the ability to change and grow anymore. once you become a person who writes books and has followers, and then people kind of rely on you to be who you are, the same thing at all time, and they don't want you to change, and so you begin to build a prison for yourself. Sometimes
Yep.
lose your own identity,
Yes, very much so.
So here it is. Enjoy your freedom. Enjoy your freedom. It doesn't mean that you have to be a Christian warrior, because I think a lot of people too, they come out with the sword blazing and they know everything what you're supposed to do, because if you're a starseed, this is what you're supposed to do, and it's like, sit the fuck down. How about that?
Yeah,
I said it. Because you don't really know, right? Because people act like, okay, I'm here today. You here today. You figured it out today. But guess what? 10 years ago, somebody else was waiting. 20 years ago, 100 years ago. This is not a new journey. You're not the first, the biggest, and the brightest.
Nope.
This is an ongoing process. And it happens in waves. And so give yourself a break, give yourself a hug, pat yourself on the back, whatever it is you got to do, and allow yourself to occupy the space.
Very true. Very, very true.
So that's where we're at.
Thank you guys for having me, and I hope to come back again. And
next time we'll start off with the deck. I like the sound of the cars.
Yeah. We'll start off first, and then we'll go.
We'll start off with the cards and talk trash in between. That's what we'll do.
Yeah,
that's right. Great, Megan. Wow, that's an awesome idea. All right. And Carrie said, definitely. Jax is excited. Everybody very satisfied. And I just want to thank you all for hanging out with us. I know it was a long night. My chicken is done. My rice is done. My son would not help me with that rice, Terry. I can't believe it.
Oh, no.
Like that little hen that wanted help, baking that bread, and everybody wants the bread at the end, but nobody wants to help it, right?
What kind of rice did he make you? Did he make you sticky rice?
Sticky rice, yeah.
Yes, love it. Love it.
Yeah. That's what we're going to do. We're going to be real on here, talk about, Very
much so.
All right. Have a good night, everybody.
All right. Bye. Thank you, everybody.